Shout out to Mayor Sheng wins. Shout out to Sheng Thao. Sheng Thao. Shout out to Sheng Thao. She was over there running in the Victim Olympics. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there laughing. Sister, you right. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. I was sitting there laughing so much at her press conference. I knew she went off the rails. I knew her communications director, they said her communications director, after she did put that little stunt yesterday, they said the communications director quit. I'm telling you, they said that the communications director quit because she went off script. They wrote her a tight little message. They told her, they said, listen, stick to the script. Do not, under any circumstances, move away, start running in the Victim Olympics, start saying that Asian Americans don't do it, Sheng Thao. Stick to the script. She didn't stick to the script. Now, we sitting here messing up, and this is what they facing over there in Oakland. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, man.
The turmoil in the Oakland mayor's office continues. Last week, of course, it was the FBI agents searching her home. Today, it's the resignation of one of her senior staffers. And if that wasn't enough, NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones explains Oakland now has to cut tens of millions of dollars from its budget.
And I am your mayor, Mayor Sheng Thao.
Hours after this speech, Mayor Sheng Thao's communication director, Francis Zamora, resigned from his position.
She was more than just a...
Hey, listen, he didn't even wait 24 hours. 1 hour, hours after the speech, he said, let me go. While she was doing the speech, he said, let me go ahead and type up my resignation because this ain't going well. I thought that we would be able to save this, but this is going down the drain and you're not about to take me with you. FBI raiding people, you don't want to stick to the script. It's nothing worse than a person that is so arrogant that they won't even listen to the people that they hired around them that's supposed to be the experts and how she's supposed to be. What's the point of having a communications director if you're not going to listen to him? What's the point of having an assistant if you're not going to listen to him? What's the point of surrounding yourself with good? Man, listen, I am so humbled by the people that work with me on my regular job, the people that work with me and content creation, the people that work with me in all of these places, because they are the experts in their respective fields. When I contact my lawyer and I say, hey man, listen, we need to do this. This is what's on my mind, and this is what's happening in my life, and I'm very, very transparent. And then he give me some advice, and my lawyer talked to me like he just real. I said, hey man, I need to make some updates to my this and to this document, and also on top of that, we need to update the NDA. He said, hey Anton, what you got going on? You got a bunch of girls around you? I told you. That's what he talked to me like. And I said, yeah, I understand. I get it. I'm weak. I need inspiration around me. I like the ladies around me, but I need some updated documents. Did you see what happened over there? He said, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to charge you for it. Okay. All right, I got you. Absolutely. But I listen to the people that surround me because they are the relative experts in their field, and they're there to protect me. And immediately, right after she did her stuff, they just resigned.
Defiant. She was conspiratorial, and she lost her emotions. Oaklanders need a leader who's going to have a steady hand at the wheel.
While Zamora did not give a reason for leaving the mayor's office, in a statement he thanked his colleagues for their professionalism and dedication. Zamora's resignation comes in the midst of turmoil in the mayor's office, including facing a recall election, calls for her resignation, and days of speculation after the FBI searched her home. Former communications director for Mayor Libby Schaaf and current media strategist Justin Burton believes the timing is telling.
To learn that Francis Zamora, someone of his caliber, resigned just hours after Mayor Thao gave that speech really suggests that he was no longer comfortable feeling like he can go on with her.
Mayor Sheng Thao is adamant she's done nothing wrong. Meanwhile, the city's looking to balance.
But you know what I think part of that is because it's not her money. When you got to pay your money, you start paying attention because that's coming out of my pocket. But because she's using taxpayer money for people that's just a part of the administration that's being, supposed to be helping her, they're less likely to listen to them because they don't have no incentive to. I mean, you do have incentive to, but it don't mean as much. When you got to put your own money up, we call that minding your own business. When you got to put your own money up, it's a different play. And so because I have to invest in myself, I'm going to be a little bit more careful with how I move. That even happened when it came to going to college. Because we wasn't taking out student loans and because we had to actually write the check ourselves, we paying attention in the classroom. And part of the reason, and we're going to get into that a little later in the show as far as men deciding not to even go down the college pathway. When you just get that little free money, when people give stuff to you, that's why I always say that men got to suffer. You're less likely to take it as serious as if you had to invest in it yourself. When you got to go and buy your own car instead of your daddy giving you a car, as a man, you got to treat your daughters differently than your sons. When you got to go and get it out the mud yourself, you value it differently. You don't just take stuff for granted. And so I think that also the arrogance comes as a result of her just being given it to, instead of her having to invest her own money as a result of it.
Its mid-year budget with $63 million in new proposed cuts. The resolution to the mayor's previous budget was released today to meet their June 30th deadline. The proposed cuts comes as the city is still working to finalize the selling of their part of the Oakland Coliseum. Money the mayor promised would balance the budget.
I think she was talking just to make the community feel good about things that were positive that were going to start happening. But now we're finding out that it's not so. And a lot of things that she's promised she can deliver on.
Possible cuts include the library, park maintenance, and OPD, citing.
Listen, the last thing that you want to do in any city, I don't care what happens. What are the three things that I say is important in order for a city to thrive? I mean, it's some other things that's very, very important. You got to work with business leaders and all of that. But the very things that's important for a city to thrive in order for it to come back is the things that she's cutting the budget for. Libraries, what do I say? Education. Education, safety is the police, and then public transportation, because you need for people to be able to cut costs and still be able to get to wherever it is that they're trying to go. Now, you can't really control the public transportation aspect of it, right? Because that's just infrastructure that should be coming as a part of the federal government, whatever. But you never, ever, you figure out a way to cut social services. You do whatever you got to do, but you don't cut public safety and you don't cut education. Those are the two most important things on a fundamental level. But see what they're trying to do, and this is how you know that you have bad leadership, and a lot of people that look at things from a business perspective, they're promising and hoping that they could sell the Oakland Coliseum or where the Oakland A's used to play at and all of this stuff. And first of all, that's not even a solution. That's supposed to be extra. You don't use that in order to balance the budget because it's not sustainable. You have to align the budget with your operating costs and what the current state of the city is. You don't cut trash, you don't cut safety, you don't cut education, and you figure out how to work more effectively with business leaders and try to recruit and then try to improve the tax base and make it more affordable for people and be more inclusive in order to have a multi-level approach of how you can then fix your city, but you don't depend on selling this thing in order to fix the budget because that's not sustainable. You'll never be able to get that one-time jolt inside of the arm forever.
A fiscal emergency. Under the proposal, the city says they're unable to budget the required minimum number of 678 police officers. The Oakland Police Officers Association explains the city has already reduced the force and frozen positions, and any more reductions could impact safety. The association said in part, if our city leaders prioritize public safety, freezing and eliminating police officer positions is not the solution.
Without the police, without the law, it's even going to be worse lawlessness.
In a statement, the city administrator's office said the options were given to council by request, saying in part these options present significant additional spending cuts for the immediate balancing of the budget, which could be restored for the upcoming fiscal year. In Oakland, Felina Jones, NBC Bay Area News.
So let's pivot for a second. Because that's, now that we know that the communications director or chief decided that they wanted to resign as a result of what she did, that little stunt that she pulled, let's spin the block a little bit and add a little bit more context into this conversation.
Oaklanders and people beyond Oakland even have been waiting very patiently to hear what the mayor would say after the FBI raided her home. At first, she was radio silent, but today she spoke, and she was defiant, even emotional in her claims of innocence. But people didn't even get long to process what she had to say before the next big twist in this story. Katie Nielsen has more on why the mayor's lawyer dropped her as a client.
Tony Brass became Mayor Thao's attorney last Friday, the day after FBI agents were seen searching her home and carrying out what appeared to be boxes of documents. But after a press conference today, Brass says he called the mayor to say, "I quit."
I have not been charged with a crime, and I am confident that I will not be charged with a crime because I am innocent.
This is only part of a heated and at times emotional press conference where Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao blasted the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI.
I did not know there was going to be a press conference.
Tony Brass is a former federal prosecutor and is now a defense attorney specializing in these types of cases. But after her remarks, he says it became clear he could not represent the mayor.
It appears to me that her messaging was inconsistent with the way I intended to manage this case. I asked to withdraw as her counsel today.
When everybody around you start to run away from you, that's very, very bad. When everybody around you starts to fall away from you, that could be an issue. It is what it is. I mean, you have to start looking at the writings that's on the wall, paying attention to what's happening. See, I don't go by what people say. I go by what I see happening in the signs. If the signs start to show itself and it's basically saying, hey, listen, this is not going to be good for you. You getting a little too arrogant. And usually the other sign that the shoe that's willing to drop or the shoe that's about to drop, part of that is you start to show a lot more arrogance than you normally would, and you go off script and you do the same thing that Tiffany Henry. I mean, they all doing the same thing. Tiffany Henry does it. Sheng Thao does it. They all look different, but it shows itself the same way. Hey, listen, I'm innocent. I don't care what happened. I didn't do anything wrong. It don't really matter. When you don't listen to your counsel, when your counsel saying, hey, fam, this is not a good thing. When your communications director quit right after you give a speech, the writing is on the wall.
Brass declined to comment on the specific messages in the mayor's press conference that concerned him, but she did imply the FBI search of her home could have been politically motivated.
The timing of all this is troubling, and we should all be concerned. I want to know why. The day following the qualification of a recall election, funded by some of the richest people in the Bay Area, seemed like the right day to execute a warrant.
Well, it's funny that she says that, because I was looking at reports that was basically saying that her campaign was funded and she was actually behind in the polls before her campaign started to get funded in order for her to win the election. And I wonder what was the incentive behind that. But we're going to dig into that a little later in the week. Maybe a little bit in this show, but a little later in the week. It's just bad. It's just bad optics. And obviously, there's no way in the world that she's ever going to win, especially with this recall effort that's coming in.
She went on to claim it was her lack of political connections that allowed her to be a target of an investigation.
This wouldn't have gone down the way it did if I was rich, if I had gone to elite private schools, or if I had come from money.
Within hours of those remarks, Brass said he quit.
People come to me for a certain type of approach to a case, and this is not consistent with that. So this is her approach, and we'll see how that turns out.
The mayor did issue a statement about the change in counsel, saying, over the weekend, I obtained new legal counsel and thanked Mr. Brass for his counsel. I will share the name of my new counsel once agreements are finalized. We asked Brass about the mayor's statement. He said he couldn't get a hold of anyone with the mayor's office or even the mayor herself over the weekend. The first time he talked with them was today.
All right, Katie, thank you. Tonight, it's important to remember the mayor's house was not the only place that the FBI searched in Oakland that same day. Agents also raided a home on Viewcrest Court that is linked to Andy Duong. He's a member of the family that owns Cal Waste Solutions and has become a regular face in local, state, and even national politics. We also saw FBI and IRS agents taking boxes from Cal Waste Solutions offices along the city's waterfront. That company did release a statement to us last week saying they're confident investigators will find nothing wrong or unlawful. But we have reached out to the Duong family multiple times since then, and we still have not heard back. At the same time, federal authorities are still not saying anything at all and haven't told us what they are investigating or who is being targeted. Security analyst Jeff Harp, who spent years in the FBI, told us this tonight.
The search warrant doesn't target the person. It targets the location where the FBI feels there may be evidence that's tied to the crime.
Mayor Thao says she has questions for the U.S. attorney overseeing the investigation, including why she was not given the opportunity to cooperate, in her words. Her questions are directed at Ismail J. Ramsey. He is the U.S. attorney for the Northern District of California. Ramsey is a Biden appointee who was confirmed by the Senate last March. Before that, the Air Force vet was a partner at a Berkeley law firm. He once worked as an assistant U.S. attorney at the office he now runs.
I was looking at a report because I was doing some more research on this situation. And what they were basically communicating is that they don't have to give you a warning or they don't have to inform you that they're going to raid before they raid. And it's a raid for a reason. It's almost like if they're raiding a drug dealer, why would they give them time in order to flush the drugs or make sure that they redirect what's coming in? Why would they want you to cooperate in the way that you want to cooperate? They're trying to catch you by surprise. Why would they want to warn you? What makes you so special that you think that you're going to get a warning before everybody else?
New details about the man seemingly at the center of the FBI's political corruption investigation that raided the mayor of Oakland's home last week. Now it's getting more interesting. A short search on Andy Duong's Instagram page shows he frequently posts with people in high places in the political world, including President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Governor Gavin Newsom, multiple pictures with Attorney General Rob Bonta, and Health and Human Services Secretary.
This dude was with Manny Pacquiao. Hold on, let me back that up for a second.
Multiple pictures with Attorney General Rob Bonta.
Jesus Christ.
And Health and Human Services Secretary and former AG Javier Becerra. The list goes on, including some in other states like Nevada AG Aaron Ford. According to an investigation by the Fair Political Practices Commission, which is a state oversight arm, Andy Duong was the true source of at least 93 contributions to multiple local campaign committees when he created a campaign contribution laundering scheme to benefit his family-owned company, California Waste Solutions, or CWS, falsely using the names of intermediaries or straw donors instead of disclosing CWS as the true source of the contributions.
So money laundering, pay for play, getting inside of politicians' pockets in order to influence what's going on and what's going on in Oakland and other places apparently. And then they basically mask it by saying that it's coming from this or we're going to send it through an intermediary. And a lot of times that comes directly, like, the politicians themselves will say, hey, this is how you do it. Trust me, I know. Politicians themselves will say, this is how you do it, or this is where you send the money, or, hey, you know, we can only take so much money from this campaign, or we need to create a SPAC, or we need to create a special company in order to be able to do so. And so basically he's influencing, and this happens at the highest level, he's influencing the decisions that's being made, especially who's basically becoming whatever it is that they becoming and making sure that they're doing a pay for play. United States of America is very much a pay for play place.
According to the FPPC, this is an ongoing investigation with evidence suggesting it started around 2016 through at least 2018 and included some campaign contributions that were fraudulently concealed from the public. All but one of the campaign committees targeted were in jurisdictions with local contribution limits. And the investigation found during this time, the city of Oakland prohibited campaign contributions from contractors providing services to the city, requiring city council approval. Yet documents show many of the targeted committees were candidates running for city council. For example, Sheng Thao, running for city council in 2018, received $9,900 from Duong that the FPPC alleges was laundered through 13 different people. The report also alleges that Larry Reed received $5,600 that was laundered through 8 different entities. Dan Kalb received $4,200 allegedly laundered through 6 different people or entities. Rebecca Kaplan allegedly received $3,500.
Rebecca Kaplan? That looked like a... Hold on. Let me do a little bit of research. Rebecca Kaplan. This is going up the food chain. Rebecca Kaplan. Oh. Now we starting to get there. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and acknowledge the fact that we have a lot of people that we don't know what they are. We don't know if you're a man or a woman. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can get a camera up here, or let's get a screen capture in this joint. Hold on one second. Let me see if we can get Rebecca Kaplan to the front of the congregation. You know, when I see certain things, it resonates, and so we got to make sure that we bring them to the front. Rebecca Kaplan out here in these streets, 53 years old. I look like a grown man. City council member of City of Oakland. Y'all wonder why these people are able to move so easily through and get stuff passed and make sure that they can build their businesses and get permits pulled and all of this stuff, and then they could get better contracts with the city and city services, and all of a sudden you're now the official recycler of the City of Oakland and stuff. This is why. Stands on for a forum about building Oakland's stronger future and stabilizing financial revenue. Young man, give me a second. Let me see what Rebecca looked like. That's a whole beard out here in these streets, fam. It's real in the field. This is a crazy space. What in the world is happening out here in these streets? Rebecca! Rebecca preaches Torah, progressive politics. Listen, we are living in a perverse world. That's all I'm going to say. We are living... We are living in a perverse world, y'all. I'm telling you, man. I can't. It's a lot. The longer I live on this earth, the less I'm surprised by what's happening in these streets. Now, I don't know if this is I don't know what I'm looking at no more. All right, y'all, let's get back to it. Shout out to Rebecca.
Laundered through 7 people. And former council member Desley Brooks received more than $18,000 over 2 campaign cycles, allegedly laundered through 24 people. Former council member Abel Guillen, who's now California's deputy superintendent of public instruction, received $4,200, allegedly laundered through 12 different people.
Shady, unethical. They tend to, they tend to operate like in this sort of kind of bribery system, to buy influence and to influence. And they do, they get a little more sophisticated here in America because we have more rules.
Shirley Guy is the executive director of the Vietnamese American Community Center of the East Bay. Guy says she got to know the Duongs at a gala fundraiser for Vietnamese American seniors.
In the gala, he jumped up and said he was going to pledge $1,500 to the seniors. And, everybody clapped and, thought that was wonderful. And then when we went to collect from him, we sent multiple emissaries, to him within the Vietnamese community. Say, hey, what's the deal? You pledged this money. It's for the seniors. Where is it? And he at first, tried to do that hiding game. And then we sent emissaries to try to collect. And then, but in the end, He stiffed us.
According to an ABC7 News analysis of state and federal data, both Andy Duong and his father David have made contributions totaling more than $250,000 to 28 candidates across California.
Listen, when you see people and they say they've made huge contributions, that means translation investments. When people say I've made a huge contribution, they're really saying I made an investment for my future, for my business, for what I'm trying to do. I got something that I'm trying to finesse, whatever. I'm making friends through money. It's the same thing. Contribution, investment, it's all the same.
More than 300 other contributions totaling over $2 million were sent to candidates or political action committees across the country, including donations to the campaigns for Representatives Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee, and even former President Donald Trump. A campaign spokesperson for Congressman Schiff wrote the I-Team, following public news reports, the campaign will be giving $26,000, the total contribution received from Mr. Duong and his family, to a local nonprofit helping address housing and homelessness.
Oh, they really, really care about housing and homelessness. So anyways, I'm not sure if the Oakland mayor is the fall lady of what's going on in these streets, but I do know one thing for sure, and two things is for certain. I will be doing a special report on her. Yes, I will. It will be debuting on the Anton Daniels channel. Let me go ahead and give myself a round of applause for that. All right. Let me read.